So we need to talk about why Chris was able to stay so composed and originally unsuspecting. He is a Scorpio rising at 11 degrees. That's the lens he used to navigate life. And with Scorpio, it's investigative and naturally suspicious, and some curiosity there as well. Scorpio's fixed water, so he could keep the surface totally calm while having massive depth underneath. Because he's a Scorpio rising, his chart ruler is Pluto, and his Pluto is retrograde at 2 degrees Scorpio in his 12th house.
And the 12th house is where we like store things that we don't want to face, right?
Right, yeah. And this means that the planet managing his entire life was operating from his subconscious. Now, sitting in his first house is Saturn retrograde at 24 degrees Scorpio. This is why he was so obsessed with his fitness routine and building a cut body. It's probably why he excelled in sports and the technical stuff in NASCAR. It's a physical way of structuring his life through keeping a rigid routine. So, for example, for his body, his workouts. Interestingly, Saturn is opposite his sun in Taurus at 25 degrees in the 7th house.
So is his whole identity like essentially tied to being a husband?
Yeah, he saw himself through the mirror of his relationships and tied his identity to them. But then you have his moon at 23 degrees Aries in the 6th house. And Aries moon is emotionally impulsive, and it has a me first attitude when it's stressed. In the 6th house of work and health, this manifested as an emotional need for a routine, the workouts, the technical tasks, but it also meant that when he felt emotionally threatened, he had a fire inside that wanted to act instantly. Aries moon is always ready to go to battle when they feel threatened.
Is that why he was so methodical, because of that need for routine?
That's part of it, but it could also be his Mercury at 4 degrees Taurus, also in his 6th house. Mercury in Taurus is incredibly stubborn regarding communication and logic. So more than likely, once he locked into a goal, he didn't think about alternatives. He just focused on the how-to and the slow and steady building of Taurus. But the challenging part is that Mercury is in a tight opposition to his 12th house, Pluto.
And how would that opposition affect his logic, so to speak?
Essentially, it provides an environment for gaslighting.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. It allowed him to stay incredibly stubborn in his own reality, 6th house is day to day, while gaslighting himself for years into believing he was a good guy. But his subconscious is ruled by Scorpio, so there's a lot of stuff you don't really want to see that's gross or decaying or rotting underneath. It harbors the underworld. So his mind was probably torn between stability and power. Pluto in the 12th is like a dark entity living in his subconscious. It represents suppressed rage and the desire to destroy. Because it was opposite his Mercury, that darkness was probably always whispering into his rational mind, trying to entice it to let go of control so that the Pluto can take over. So he uses everyday common sense to justify this dark hidden urge to tear his life down. He could be talking nicely while plotting a total annihilation in the back of his mind. These dark loops were meant to catch his attention, but to encourage him to see them for what they are, manipulative loops that need transformation and refinement.
That's dark and weird.
Yeah.